Hello there, you're watching Nightline. I'm Azara Tagaya. Here are the top stories. BNM cuts OPR to 2.50% as COVID-19 weakens global economy. And Prime Minister calls for prompt execution of Budget 2020 and stimulus package. Good morning. Bank Negara Malaysia has decided to cut the overnight policy rate OPR by 25 basis points to 2.50% at its Monetary Policy Committee meeting on Tuesday. The central bank said the reduction in the OPR is intended to provide a more accommodative monetary environment to support the projected improvement in economic growth amid price stability. Via a statement, BNM said that global economic conditions have weakened in the recent period, with the ongoing COVID-19 outbreak having disrupted production and travel activity. Downside risks to the global growth outlook have also increased. With further anticipated policy measures, it said these actions are expected to mitigate the economic impact of COVID-19. Looking ahead, BNM said growth, particularly in the first quarter, will be affected by the COVID-19 outbreak, primarily in the tourism-related and manufacturing sectors. Meanwhile, headline inflation is expected to average higher but remain modest this year. In the meantime, the Prime Minister has directed the federal government's machinery to accelerate the implementation of the Budget 2020 initiatives and the economic stimulus package unveiled recently by the previous administration. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said this is not only to mitigate the impact of the COVID-19 outbreak on the country's economy, but also to safeguard the people's well-being. The Prime Minister's office in a statement on Tuesday said the Prime Minister had called for government agencies to focus on and effectively implement the initiatives announced in Budget 2020. He had also directed the Finance Ministry to ensure the stimulus package is carried out smoothly, as well as to monitor its effects on the economy and overall performance. Tan Sri Muhyiddin also wanted the country's debt and liabilities to be given attention, with every project to be implemented fine-tuned so as not to add to the government's financial commitments and debt. The newly appointed Prime Minister also stressed on the need for more prudent spending and to reduce leakages to ensure the nation's continued financial stability. The statement came after the PM was given a briefing by top government officials on Malaysia's economic and fiscal situation, which lasted for about 2 hours at Perdana Putra. Among those who attended the briefing were Treasury Secretary-General Tan Sri Ahmad Badri Muhammad Zahir, Economic Affairs Ministry Secretary-General Datuk Saiful Anwar Lebay Hussein, and Finance Ministry National Budget Office Director Johan Mahmud Merakan. Also present was Chief Secretary to the Government Datuk Sri Muhammad Zuki Ali. Later at 11 a.m, the Health Ministry's Special Task Force was scheduled to brief Tan Sri Muhyiddin on the COVID-19 status. On Sunday, the Pagoh MP took oath of his office as the country's 8th Prime Minister before the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah at Istana Negara. Malaysia has 7 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the total number of cases to 36. The Prime Minister, during a briefing on the status of the illness in the country on Tuesday, also directed the Special Task Force to continue monitoring the situation and taking the appropriate steps to contain the outbreak. Tan Sri Muhyiddin was also briefed on efforts to bring home Malaysian citizens from Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office said the Prime Minister was satisfied with measures taken by government agencies to manage the spread of COVID-19 and recorded his appreciation to those involved, particularly frontliners and medical staff. The Prime Minister is also advising the public not to panic, abstain from panic buying, and urged the people to follow the Health Ministry's measures to contain the virus's spread. All employees of UDA Holdings Berhad at Blok Menara Complex Pertama have been instructed to work from home effective Tuesday as part of measures to contain the spread of COVID-19. In a statement, the government-linked company said that the work-at-home directive had been put in place as a member of its board of directors had tested positive for COVID-19 as officially announced by UDA on Monday. Following the departure of all staff from the office on Monday, UDA undertook cleaning and disinfection activities in the office area. The company has also limited the entry of outsiders into the office while doing temperature screenings in the lobby and providing face masks and hand sanitizers to staff and visitors. In the meantime, Director General of Health, Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, said that he had never issued a statement asking the public to avoid the Pantai and Bangsar areas over the next 10 days due to COVID-19. This was following a report that was viraled on social media, which quoted him as having given such advice. According to Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham, the report was inaccurate and gave the wrong impression to the public. The news agency had since corrected the report, which has sparked concern among the public living in the Pantai and Bangsar areas. The people are also urged not to believe or spread any news that has not been verified by the Health Ministry. Meanwhile, Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham also praised the quick action taken by Pantai Hospital Kuala Lumpur cardiologist Datuk Dr. Sanjeev Joshi, who voluntarily distanced himself from the hospital, clinic and family for 14 days. In a post on his official Facebook account, he said Dr. Sanjeev was treating a 35-year-old woman who shared a room with case 24 that later tested positive for COVID-19, becoming the 29th confirmed case in the country. The Health DG added Dr. Sanjeev, despite being tested negative for COVID-19, had quarantined himself during the incubation period as a preventive measure. Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham also hoped that those who came into close contact with COVID-19 patients will emulate his action, as it is the right thing to do. Now, in the United States, 4 more people have died of COVID-19, bringing the nation's death toll to 6. Authorities across the country are scrambling to prepare for more infections, with the emphasis on ratcheting up the number of available test kits. The number of cases in the United States had also risen to 91. Stores in regions across the country with COVID-19 clusters were selling out of basic goods as people stocked up. The state of Georgia reported its first 2 cases Monday, bringing the number of states with confirmed cases to 15. The disease has hit at least 70 countries with 90,000 cases and 3,100 deaths.
Is to limit the contact. The doctors in charge told me that they are under immense pressure.
Gabungan Parti Sarawak's GPS endorsement of Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin as the 8th Prime Minister is not due to a supposed vested interest in getting a spot in the federal level cabinet. GPS Chairman Datuk Patinggi Abang Johari Tun Openg reiterated that the coalition had supported Tan Sri Muhyiddin's appointment as it wanted the week-long political impasse to end. Datuk Patinggi Abang Johari, who was also Sarawak Chief Minister, however, said the state ruling coalition would deliberate thoroughly if any GPS member of Parliament is offered a position in the cabinet under Tan Sri Muhyiddin's leadership.
Question is, I see first now, if there is assuming there is an invitation for us to invite, look into it. That is secondary, country first. Country first. Okay.
What is your opinions on the?
Datuk Patinggi Abang Johari told this to reporters after attending a forum held in conjunction with the World Interfaith Week 2020 in Kuching, Sarawak on Tuesday. Datuk Sri Abdul Hadi Awang on Tuesday paid tribute to former Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad for his many contributions and role in leading the nation. The past president, in a Facebook posting, also praised Tun Dr. Mahathir's efforts in controlling the situation until a peaceful end was reached during last week's political impasse. Datuk Sri Abdul Hadi said that 94-year-old Tun Dr. Mahathir is an example of a modern-day statesman who will always be preserved and remembered in the annals of history. In the same posting, Datuk Sri Abdul Hadi also said that Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin did not ask to be appointed for the top post. He said Tan Sri Muhyiddin did not lobby or campaign for himself, adding that Perikatan Nasional was formed to provide a solution to the recent political impasse following Tun Dr. Mahathir's resignation that led to the collapse of Pakatan Harapan after Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia quit the coalition. The Marang MP expressed gratitude to the King and the state rulers for successfully tackling the crisis with much wisdom. A Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission investigating officer confirmed on Tuesday that lawyer and former MIC legal advisor Datuk Selva Mukia was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in November 2015 when the MACC went there to investigate the 1MDB case. MACC Assistant Commissioner Muhammad Nasharuddin Amir, who was an investigating officer in the 1MDB case, told the High Court that the MACC had gone to Riyadh on November 29, 2015 to record a statement from an individual said to be an Arab Prince, Prince Saud Abdul Aziz Malik Abdul Aziz. The ninth defence witness said this when cross-examined by Deputy Public Prosecutor Datuk V. Sitambaram at Datuk Sri Najib's trial involving the misappropriation of SRC International's and Riyadh Berhad funds, which entered its 86th day on Monday. Muhammad Nasharuddin said while in Riyadh, the MACC also took a statement from Eric Tan Kim Lung, an alleged associate of fugitive businessman Low Tek Jo, better known as Jolo. Meanwhile, MACC Chief Commissioner Latifah Koya, who was subpoenaed 2 days ago, was present in court. The defence witness, however, asked to be excused from the proceedings of the day, saying she had to attend an important meeting with other heads of agencies. She told the judge that she would return on Thursday to testify. Justice Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali allowed the request. Datuk Sri Najib's lead counsel Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi'i Abdullah also informed the court that the defence had subpoenaed former MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Zulkifli Ahmad and Datuk Sri Najib's former Principal Private Secretary Tan Sri Shukri Muhammad Saleh. He said the two might be called to the stand after Latifah testifies. The hearing continues Wednesday.
Therefore, one of us should.
The Kuala Lumpur High Court on Tuesday accepted Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's apology on his purported meeting with the Prime Minister, which led to his graft trial to be postponed on Monday. After accepting the Bagan Datuk MP's apology, Justice Collins Lawrence Sequeira said he did not find a case for contempt to be made out. Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid had earlier apologised to the court after failing to produce a letter he claimed to have received relating to his purported meeting with Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin to discuss a new cabinet lineup. In accepting the apology, the judge, however, gave a warning that he would not tolerate any attempt to mislead the court. The judge said should there be any attempts to mislead the court or contemptuous conduct, he would not hesitate to impose fine or imprisonment. Yesterday, Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid's graft trial was adjourned for the day as the UMNO president said he had to attend a meeting with the Prime Minister for cabinet talks. The Prime Minister's office, however, issued a statement denying any meetings with politicians. Still to come on Nightline, authorities foil smuggling attempts worth over 9 million ringgit. Back on Nightline, police have opened 10 investigation papers in relation to social media posts allegedly insulting the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah. Deputy Inspector General of Police Datuk Mazlan Mansur said so far 5 people have been detained, including another 2 today. A probe under the Sedition Act and the Communications and Multimedia Act is now underway, and once completed, the investigation papers will be submitted to the public prosecutor for further action. Police are also looking for several other individuals in connection with the matter and believe that they are still in the country. Commenting on reports that one of those previously detained is mentally unsound, Datuk Mazlan said it is now up to the court to determine the validity of the claim. The Johor Customs Department has foiled 5 attempts to smuggle goods, including African timber, with over 9 million ringgit via the Tanjung Pelepas Port PTP. The illegal items were seized in several areas in the state between February 19th and 24th. State Customs Director Datuk Muhammad Hamidan Mariani said the department's enforcement officer conducted an inspection and found Gibosha wood from Zambia inside a container at the port on February 19th. He added the wood is categorized as a controlled commodity under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, and any transshipment would require a permit from the exporting country.
Dan jumlah kayu yang telah pun kita kira sebanyak 155 batang bersamaan 30,580 kg yang bernilai sebanyak 9.174 juta. Dan tiada tangkapan yang dibuat untuk kes ini, dan kita siasat di bawah Seksyen 52 Akta Kasam 1967.
The following day, a raid was carried out at Taman Nusa Jaya, where 2 men in their 20s were arrested. A total of 1,511 bottles of liquor worth 25,862 ringgit, with over 90,000 ringgit in unpaid taxes, were also seized at the scene. 3 separate raids were also conducted in Ulu Tiram, Johor Bahru and Kota Tinggi between February 23rd and 24th. In the operation, authorities seized 168,912 sticks of white cigarettes worth 43,907 ringgit, with 151,079 ringgit in unpaid taxes. 5 foreign men aged between 20 and 40, comprising 3 Indonesians, a Bangladeshi and a Nepal national, were also nabbed. Police have smashed a drug trafficking syndicate following 8 coordinated raids in 4 different states on Sunday. Among those detained in the drug bust, which is worth more than 5.2 million ringgit, were 3 underage children and a family of 4 believed to be the masterminds. Bukit Aman Narcotics Crime Investigation Department Director Datuk Ramli Den said the drugs seized in the operation, codenamed Ops Falcon, weighed more than 216 kilograms. The raids were carried out simultaneously in Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, Penang and Kedah. Among those arrested in the 7-hour operation were 11 syndicate members aged between 21 and 53, including a Thai national. They will all be remanded for 7 days until March 8th for investigation under the Dangerous Drugs Act for drug trafficking. The suspect behind the murder of a 41-year-old man in Bukit Metajam, Pulau Pinang on Monday, who was stabbed multiple times by a sharp weapon and run over by his own pickup truck, has been arrested by police. According to Pulau Pinang CID Chief, Senior Assistant Commissioner Datuk Zainul Samah, the suspect was arrested on Tuesday at about 1:30 p.m. after a manhunt was launched following the discovery of the victim Liao Chung Leong's body in front of a mini-market chain outlet at Jalan Impian Ria Alma. It was believed that the incident occurred after the victim had failed to settle his debts to the suspect. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code. The Ipoh Sessions Court in Perak has set March 19th to make a decision on Perak Executive Council member Paul Yong Chu Kyong's application for a stay of proceedings for his rape trial to allow an appeal to be heard at the federal court first. Sessions Court Judge Norashima Khalid set the date after hearing submissions from Yong's lawyer Farhan Sapian. Last year in August, Yong claimed trial to raping his former 23-year-old Indonesian maid at his house in Meru Desa Park on July 7th. A tow truck operator was charged at the Kuantan Sessions Court in Pahang on Tuesday for voluntarily causing grievous hurt to a policeman by splashing acid on him last week. Aziz Muhammad, aged 41 and a father of 3, however, pleaded not guilty to the charge. The incident occurred at 51-year-old Sergeant Kamarul Zaharin Abdullah's house in Indra Mahkota, Kuantan at about 6:10 p.m. on February 24th. As a result, the victim suffered burn injuries to his face and back. The court set bail at 20,000 ringgit with one surety and fixed April 6th for mention. Still to come on Nightline, riverboat accident in Brazil leaves over a dozen dead. Don't go away. We're back with the foreign news. In Brazil, authorities have launched an investigation into a riverboat accident that left at least 13 people killed after the riverboat sank in the northern Brazilian state of Amapá. According to the state government, 28 people are believed to be missing. The incident occurred late on Saturday, roughly 100 kilometers from the municipality of Laranjal do Hari in the Amazon rainforest. Fortunately, 46 have been rescued and the search for the missing is underway. The government reported that the vessel was making a roughly 36-hour journey between the cities of Santana and the state of Santarém in neighboring Para. In the Amazon, river transportation is common as overland travel is often impossible. At least 50 people were killed in multiple attacks by armed bandits on villages in areas of northern Nigeria, rife with cattle theft and kidnappings. Residents of the remote villages in Kaduna State say the attackers arrived on Sunday in large numbers and started shooting people and burning their homes. About 100 armed assailants invaded the 5 villages of Hashimawa, Marina, Kirawa, Unguman Musa and Zariawa. Several people were wounded in the attacks and taken to nearby hospitals. As of now, troops have been sent to the neighbor states of Katsina, Zamfara and Niger Republic, as the gunmen are suspected to have come from the area. According to an official, the assault was in retaliation for villagers allegedly assisting recent army operations against the so-called bandits in their forest hideouts. Back with sports and action from the AFC Champions League 2020, Johor Darul Takzim JDT defeated Suwon Samsung Blue Wings 2-1 at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium on Tuesday. The Johor Tigers took the lead in the 13th minute through a Gonzalo Cabrera penalty. However, the visitors equalized 6 minutes from the restart of the second half through a Terry Antonis goal. JDT fought on until 17 minutes before the final whistle when centre-back Maurizio headed home the winner, making it 2-1. The win puts the team back in contention for a top 2 finish in Group G and a potential place in the round of 16. Now, before we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at what's been installed on the front pages of Malaysia's main newspapers on Wednesday, March 4th. First up, the New Straits Times NST. Speculations are rife on who will be appointed as ministers in the new cabinet lineup under Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin. NST puts the spotlight on this. The nation's best-selling Malay newspaper, Harian Metro, breaks it down on the possibility of 3 states, Malacca, Kedah and Perak, are forming a new government following in after Johor. Berita Harian accentuates on a political analyst's view that 14th Parliament sitting should be postponed to reduce political tensions. With the report on the OPR cut to 2.5% by Bank Negara Malaysia taking the front page of the Malaysian Reserve. Be among the first to get your copies. And now BMW recently launched its Concept i4, their first purely electric coupe that offers a thrilling peak performance of up to 530 horsepower. Drawing inspiration from the forthcoming iNext SUV, the i4 has a clean and taut surfacing aimed at providing class-leading aerodynamic efficiency. We'll leave you with the visuals that wrap up Nightline. I'm Azara Tagaya. Thank you for tuning in and good night.